Hello everybody, welcome to class. Today is a great day and we're going to be having an amazing session uh, as we dive deeper into today's lecture. My name is Nshom, and once again, promise you're welcome to class. This is your first day in class, promise you're highly welcome. You're welcome Cyprian, and of course you're welcome Felix. Uh, so last week we were looking at some aspect of speaking where we touch so much on developing values, having values. As a speaker, you need to come up with your values, and one of the values we talked about is just the value of passion. As a speaker, you have to show passion. As a speaker, there should be a value of excellence. You need to be excellent in what you're doing, in what you're speaking about, the topic. You need to be the best in it, because if you're the best in it, there's a way that energy can resonate around the world, and people will begin to book you anytime there is a speaking engagement or opportunity in relation to that particular industry. We equally talked about the fact that as a speaker, you need to be very honest, you need to be a man of integrity, like your yes to be your yes and your no should be your no. And you should not go around borrowing people's quotes without referencing them. You should not go about saying things and taking pictures on people that they are not authorized you to use their pictures to start using them. Now, when you begin to do those things, you are not acting in integrity. And when you begin to do that, the natural laws will begin to fight your career. And that's why you could be in the speaking industry for 2 years, or 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10 years, and you are not making progress. You're only stuck in one place because you're not practicing the regulations and the rules or the deontologies of that career. So we said every single career has its own principles, has its own rules. And when you don't follow the rules of a career, the rules will fight you. The rules are a little bit like the natural, like the universe. So imagine the universe is fighting you. Imagine the earth is fighting you. You can't make it if the universe or the world is fighting you. So all you have to do, you respect the rules, you respect the regulations, you respect the deontologies, and the profession, the rules, the regulations, and the deontologies will respect you. And that is what will give you that upper edge among your peers. Why they are copying without referencing, why they are talking, paraphrasing, you are referencing, you are doing what is right at the right time, in the right place, with the right people. And that was it today. For last week, we said quite a lot of things. We cannot say everything we said last week. Unfortunately, the class of last week was not recorded because it was kind of we were traveling from Minneapolis to, we're caught up in the trip, right? So today's class is actually being recorded as well, and as well, for the sake of the students too on YouTube, we are recording it as well. So today's class we're going to be looking at something very exciting, and that thing we're looking about is questions often asked by beginner speakers. Alright? Questions often asked by beginner speakers. Alright? Questions often asked by beginner speakers. Bring the question. What are some of these questions that when someone is starting a career, I mean, like a lot of people here are starting their careers in speaking. So what are some questions that are in your mind and you want to know how to go about that? You know, what are some challenges that you're thinking about and you want to ask, so you could be provided assistance or help, you could be rescued on. Anybody want to share? It maybe it's not a question you have now, but a question you had some 3 months ago, 2 months ago, 2 weeks ago, and you want to know, have an answer for it. Anybody? Yes, Cyprian? Okay. I love that. Your questions makes a lot of sense. Yes? Next. Awesome. Great. What makes a great speaker? Question number one. Getting contacts from the audience. How do you get to talk to the audience before you get to get their expectation for your presentation before you get to talk? Okay, great. Next. Promise. Yes, promise, over to you. Great. Good. Good. How to distinguish yourself as a speaker? Distinguish yourself and your niche. Okay, great. Another question? Felix, do you have a question? Great. Okay, so let's start with this. What makes a great speaker? What makes a great speaker? There are several things that makes a great speaker, among which, number one, the person's experience. The person's experience. This answer I'm giving now will also answer Promise's question. What makes you to stand out? Yesterday I was going through Instagram, and I saw a post from the legendary John C. Maxwell. How many of you know about John C. Maxwell, the leadership guru? I'm sure almost everybody. Great. John C. Maxwell is one of the best. He is actually a master and he's a legend when it comes to leadership. He is good. He is well known around the world. He has trained thousands and millions of speakers around the world. And he said something so powerful. Here's what he said. He said, "Never teach anything if you have not become." Paraphrase. I'm actually paraphrasing. That might not be the exact word he used, but the meaning of it is out. Never you teach people something you have not become. Alright? Never you teach a subject you have not become. Now we are tired of hearing people say things like, "Do what I say, but don't do what I'm doing." So now, what makes a great speaker is his ability not to go to YouTube, ChatGPT, Google, to download the stuff he want to share, but to use his life experience to teach the people. Oh, I hope you got that. You understand? Because as a speaker, as a minister, whoever you are, there's a particular rapport that you'll be able to create with your audience when you're speaking from experience than speaking from in pidgin, like they say in Africa, I hear say. No. So when you are speaking because you have become, for instance, Felix. Is Felix in class?
Yes,
Okay, why did you, despite all the other public speaking schools in the world, why did you decide to sign in at the Texas Institute of Public Speaking? I think Cyprian can answer the same question, and then Promise answer the same question. Why? Why is it that I did not have to convince you to sign in? I did not have to take that Texas Institute of Public Speaking or the Public Speaking University is the best school in public speaking. If you register, we'll give you the very best of all of that. Why did I not have to say all of these things? But you graciously sign in for this training. Why? Let's start with Felix and then let's hear Promise and then Cyprian. Yes, Felix.
Okay, so for me, I've known you for over 4 years. I don't know if it 3 years, or 3 years. And at some point we've been discussing, and I've been seeing how you've been in the journey. Sometimes I look at you and I enjoy how you are taking the thing. Again, just as easy as it is. I think that the coming to learn from you and also have the grace. Something like that.
Okay. Great. Okay. Promise. Why did Tiny not need to really convince you? You just have to sign in. Why?
Okay, so thank you very much for this opportunity. What makes me to join the Texas Institute of Public Speaking? The first thing is your experience.
Mm-hmm.
So when I listen to your experiences for the way you grew up, experiences so far the way you grew up is similar to mine. So I believe that if you are capable of, if you are able to stand up and teach people about this lesson of this caliber, that means I for one, so you can give a good help for me. So that's one reason why I joined the Texas Institute of Public Speaking.
Lovely. Great. Okay. Let's hear from Tekle. Tekle, you're welcome. Why do you sign in for the
Thank you.
Texas Institute of Public Speaking or the Public Speaking University to be trained?
That's a nice welcome.
Yep.
So why did I sign up for public speaking? First of all, I'm new right now, and public speaking is something that I have always wanted to pursue, but not knowing how. So on my own thing, since I met you, like since I came into contact with you, it has been a great opportunity because it looks like I might be the youngest person into public speaking. So joining it means that I'm learning from people that are already ahead of me and learning one thing from you. So that's why I joined, to make a career out of public speaking and before making a career to understand the little steps that would lead me to a good public speaker.
I love that. Thank you. Cyprian, over to you. Why did you join?
Yes, sir. I came to a point in my life whereby I became fed up with my degree of communicating among my peers and even among other public speakers in an organization and other places. So I came in touch with one guy that I know in IXT. So I was researching about so I asked him that is there any public speaker or trainer that he can recommend that can actually school me and take my own speaking skills to another level. So he told me if I've ever heard of any person called Nshom. I told him that no, I haven't heard of anyone. He told me that no, I haven't heard of anyone. I want to go researcher because he categorically told me this is the best public speakers he can have faced. And this is the best public speaker that I've ever came across. So that's how my approach again.
Great. Thank you so much, Cyprian. By the way, Cyprian, for the past 1 month, I know you've been doing training for almost 2.5 months. For the past 1 month, any success story? Have somebody commented on your presentation skills and public speaking skills?
Yes, so that's a very good question because the moment I myself I realized that something has changed is when I did a presentation
Good.
So
Yeah.
secondly, I came, I went to the office one day, one fateful day. I was playing my presentation in my office, and one of my colleagues that has always encouraged me to grow as public speaking skill. So he came and helped me play my presentation, and he was going, wow, is that your voice? I told him that yes, that's my voice. He said, cannot be rejected, that's my voice, that has really changed. So, in fact, I just love speaking now. Yeah, I just love speaking.
I love that, bro. I love that. So you see, that is it. So, what makes a great speaker? Now, what makes a great speaker is not the knowledge of the speaker. Take note, alone. Um, is not the exposure of the speaker alone. You know, it is not the experience of the speaker alone, but it is the combination of all of that. So what happens is that if you want to become a great speaker, you don't have to go in a rush. You have to become. There's a difference between becoming and knowing. Promise can teach leadership. Promise can teach entrepreneurship. You know, John C. Maxwell can teach leadership. John C. Maxwell can teach entrepreneurship. Now, what's the difference? The difference is that John C. Maxwell has been in leadership for over 40 something to 60 years, teaching leadership with result and like entrepreneurship. So you see, uh, speakers that are really great are people who don't talk what they heard. Like this, I said, like I used to say, like they used to say in pidgin English in Africa, you know, they talk what they believe it's working, and they are role models to what they are teaching and speaking, and they have result. Did you get that? That's what makes a great speaker. So what he is talking, you are seeing it in his life. You are seeing him living it or seeing her living it. And you are seeing the result, the fruit every single day. That's what makes a great speaker. So when you speak what you do, when you walk the talk, but like how I put it, walking the talk, people love to hear you again and again and again. For instance, if you invite somebody to talk about how to become a successful footballer, I want to go there. I want to listen to him. Right. But if you invite um, John Silver, I don't know John Silver, I don't know if there's anybody in the world like John Silver to come and talk about football. I'm not going to be there because that could be kind of a damn shit, man. So I want to go and listen to the person who knows the route, who walks the way, and he can show me the way. I want to listen to somebody who does not even know the route, who has not even walked the truth, and then he wants to show me the way. I bet you that dude will mislead you. He will definitely mislead you. And so when you have walked the way, know the way, and you can show others, then they want to listen to you. They want to listen to you. Alright? They want to listen to you. I want you to reflect on that just for 1 second. Just 1 second. Okay? I hope you reflected on that. That's so important. That's so important. So we have walked the talk. Now, so if I tell you that you can make a living from public speaking, you can pay your children's school fees from public speaking, you can buy a house with public speaking, you can buy a car with public speaking, then I really mean what I'm talking about, right? Like this is actually my second car that I bought, you know. So like, where did I take money? Public speaking gave me money to buy this car. I just got it yesterday. You understand? So if I'm teaching you, if you desire to get a car, to buy a house, to do all of that, to pay people's school fees, to sponsor yourself, to travel around the world, and then so that's what I've done. That's what I'm doing. Okay, so I know what to do to make a living from public speaking. So if that is what you want, then you join the class. As simple as that. And I'm not saying this for any reason, but it's just The truth is just a reality. You get, it's just a reality. And so what am I saying? I'm saying that what makes a great speaker is when you are talking out of your experience or what you have become instead of what you heard or what you saw. I hope your question is answered, Cyprian.
Yes, sir.
Yes. I'm going to add to that. I will not just end at that. The second thing which we discussed last week, one of the things that makes a great speaker is the respect he has for other people and the respect he has for himself. For instance, there's what we call self-esteem. Self-esteem. Right. And self-esteem plus respect for others. Respect for others. So, when you believe in yourself and you know your value, you cannot settle for less. You want to be respected like you want to respect other people. Right? So, a speaker that respects himself, and when you respect yourself, you will not. This is very interesting, guys. Now, as a speaker, this is what happened. You are a leader. I made this statement in the last class, I will still make it again. As a speaker, you are a leader. You are a role model. You are a king. So people are seeing you and looking up to you, whether you like it or not. People are watching and you are looking up to you. So what that means is that if you eating granite right then and you're throwing the peelings on the road, you're sending out a message. Right? If you're talking with your parents and the parent asks you a question, you're like, Daddy, how can you ask a dog question like that? Like, you're insulting somehow seniors, authorities, leaders. And your language is not really healing. People are watching at you, and that's the message you're giving out to people. Alright? If you don't dress well, if you just dress anyhow, as you're moving around the community, around the quarter, that's a message you're giving out to people. Right? Now, if you just carry yourself around like a broke person who has no focus, no feature, that's the message you're giving out for people and to people. So what that means is that if you don't have self-esteem, and then respect for others, people will discredit your work even before you get out there to the market. You get? So it means that you have to be careful how you move yourself around. That has to do with you got to be careful the places you visit. Alright, so somebody like me, I have a value. One of my value is that I don't attend nightclubs. You know, that's one of my values. Like, you can't see me in a nightclub. You cannot find me in a nightclub anywhere. That's my value. Because the kind of people I am talking to them, those are people who they have their values, and one of the values is that they don't want to attend nightclubs. You see, they don't want to attend nightclubs. So I cannot be teaching people something and asking them not to do to practice it while I'm doing the opposite. All right, just briefly. Hello, everybody. Eugene, you're welcome. Everybody, can you do this? Hello, Eugene, you're welcome. Okay. Can you do your hands like this, everybody? Just do this, right? If you can put on your camera, put on your camera. Do this, right? Everybody, do this. And then I want you to put your hand in your left hand cheek, okay? Put your hand in the left hand cheek, all right? Left cheek, okay? Put it on your left cheek. Everybody, put it on your left cheek. I cannot see some of you even. Put it on your left cheek. Okay, that's great. Great. So, how many of you put it on your left cheek? This was the left cheek. So this is what you're supposed to do. This was the left cheek. Yeah, how many of you did it? Okay, Claire did not do that. Okay, this was the left cheek. This is the right cheek. Any other person who did not put it on the left cheek? Anybody? No, yeah, this is the right hand. You put it on the left cheek. Great. So So if you did this, you're wrong. Awesome. So that's the point. So what I'm saying is that this is leadership, and this is public speaking. And we say every speaker is a leader, every speaker is a model, every speaker is a king. It means that you're leading the way, you're chanting the way for others to follow. It means that if you're telling people to put the hand on the left cheek and you put it on the right cheek, everybody will do what my sister and friend Tekle did it. So we are going to put it on the way you were seeing you doing it. So you don't tell people to do what you are saying or what you're doing. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't make you a great speaker. So you have to walk the talk. Like what you teach people should be what you practice. If you don't practice it, don't teach people. Resign. Stop it. Because you are spreading wrong information. So that's very important. Self-esteem and respect for others is so important. So respect for others means that you will not go and copy people's work. You will not go and watch somebody's YouTube video and then come out with a message, a sermon from that video. It doesn't work like that. You have to credit the person who created that content. You must credit the person. Who knows why? Now let me tell you why. Because if you don't credit the person who created that original content, somebody, perhaps someone in your audience must have watched that video, perhaps someone in your audience must have read that book, and you'll be saying the same thing, and the person could just put up their hand and say, hey my friend, that is wrong. I've read this, I've watched this from this work, and I've not heard how you reference the source. So I discredit you, and I'm not for it again. And it could be that in the past you've done great jobs. The person will just ridicule everything you've ever done just because of one single error, one single mistake, because you failed to respect others' work and you did not even respect yourself. So when you are able to speak from what you have become, from who you are, from your experience, not what you read from X or Y, what you watched from X or Y, when you're able to share your experience, true life experience to people, you inspire them, and that's what makes you unique, and that's what makes you a great speaker, and that's what makes you to be rebooked again and again and again by the same organization, and that's how it makes you your information spread out around the world. That's the point. So the question is, what makes a great speaker? What makes a great speaker is the speaker's uniqueness to the topic he's talking about. How you bring in original ideas, original concepts, very unique concept, and then innovate the concept and then teach the people. And lastly, what makes a great speaker is this. In a class of PhD students and master students and bachelor degree students, high school students, middle school students, and elementary students, if what you are teaching as a speaker or as a trainer, if the elementary school kid cannot understand what you're saying, if what you are speaking on, if the least educated person in the room can't get what you are saying, you can't be a great speaker. A great speaker is that one who knows how to explain complex subjects in very simpler ways that everybody gets it. Using practical metaphors, similes, personifications, that can actually just push people to get what he's talking about. Right? That is a great speaker. So those are the 4 elements, you might ask me, that constitute what makes up a great speaker. I hope your questions answered. By the way, our producer just coming in right now. We're talking about, we are actually studying our manual. This is a manual, Skyrocket Your Education Career, Building a Profitable and Impactful Career. For those who are doing the 1-month course, those who are doing the 3-month course, those who are doing the 12-month course, this is a textbook we have to use along the journey. And so you're welcome. So this book is on Amazon. You can order it on Amazon. And for those who are in Cameroon, you can get a copy in Douala, Yaoundé, or Bamenda. And if you're in the US, like Claire and Eugene, you can order a copy from Amazon. Okay, so you just have to order the link and I'm going to send to you. So today we're looking at what makes a great speaker. Now we're looking at questions asked by beginner speakers. What are the questions that beginner speakers often ask themselves when they're starting the career? So the question was asked, what makes a great speaker? That was the question asked by Cyprian. And Cyprian, I hope you got the answer and you're satisfied with that. And so the second question is getting content from audience. How do you, okay, you're invited to speak. Maybe you're invited to speak in our graduation ceremony. Sooner or later, we'll be graduating some of you. And so we get a guest speaker and you're the one. So how do you get to the students who are graduating to get the expectation um, before you come and do the talk? And then we'll definitely answer that. Eugene, your hand is up. You're welcome, sir. Eugene, you want to say something?
Thank you. I just wanted to hear your voice. I'm listening. Thank you.
Awesome. Beautiful. You're welcome, Eugene. Yeah, Eugene is a very good friend of mine. We did secondary school together, middle school, yeah, in Africa, in Cameroon, way back then. And he's schooling and working here in the U.S., Pennsylvania, if I'm correct. So you're welcome, Eugene. So how to get information from the audience before you ever come to do the talk. So there are so many ways you can get that separate. So the first way you can get information from your audience, you contact the host, the person who is inviting you, the person hosting the event. When you contact the person, he will give you all the information. So you could ask the person, hey, most of the time when I'm doing my presentations, I would love to get expectations from the host or the event organizer who is inviting me to come and speak. And again, I also want to get from the audience who are going to be the direct beneficiaries of my presentation. So please, would you mind to share with me 2 to 3 contacts of the people who will be listening to my talk so I could interact with them to get their expectations? Yeah, that's how you can get to them through your host. All right, through your host. Now, in situations where you already know some of the people who are going to be in the audience, you could reach out to them through social media platforms like Facebook Messenger, LinkedIn, Instagram. Okay, so you get to them and write them a message like, hey, my name is this. I have been booked to speak in your upcoming conference, summit, and bootcamp, an event, or seminar. I'm writing you because I would love to get 2 to 3 of your expectations for my presentation. All right, that's how they could also reach out to you. All right. So another way you could do that is also by writing a question. You just write, okay, hi everybody. This is it. My name is Nshom, and I'm speaking in your bootcamp coming up in Texas. I would like to know. I will need 3 volunteers to help me with 3 to 6 9 expectations for this October, for this event in October in Texas. You send to the platform, which if you're part of the audience already, you send to the platform, and then those volunteers could reach out to you. And one of the easiest way to do this is through a Google form. I hope you know what is a Google form. So a Google form is a Google platform where you can go and put questions and then send to people through a link, and then they answer the question and you received the link back, and then you can get all the questions, all the answers sent to you directly. It's a kind of amazing platform that anybody can use, right? You don't need to pay. You just have to create a form and then put the questions, send the link, the answer, you get the answers. So every speaker should have a Google form. My booking form, if you reach out to me to book me for your speaking gig, I'll send the Google form. So you just fill it and then we're good to go. So those are some 3 ways on how you can get information. You can gather information from your audience as a speaker to get feedback and expectations to them before you go and speak to them. And the same way, you could use the same method to collect feedback of your presentation. You know, a lot of people miss out collecting feedback after the talk. So after the talk, you could put the barcode where people can scan and then respond to the Google form on feedback. So I hope that helps you, Pray. Okay? Okay, I'm glad to hear. So we're looking at how to distinguish yourself and your niche. Like, Promise asked the question, like, how do you, as a speaker, distinguish yourself in what you're talking about? Eugene, your hand is up. You want to say something? Okay, no.
Suddenly, I was just waiting.
All right, good. So, promise was like, okay, um, everybody can talk about leadership. Everybody can talk about success. Everybody can talk about relationship. Maybe some people can talk about team building. Okay, some people can talk about public speaking. Now, promise like, what can make you to stand out? What can make you to stand out among all the people talking about a particular thing? What can make you to stand out, to be distinguished in such a way that people should recommend you in that industry? People should love to work with you in that industry. Promise, did I get your question right, please? Hello, Promise? Hello, Promise. Is the question correct before I give the answer? Okay. Uh, I'm sure that's the question. I'm sure that's the question. So, one of the best way to answer your question, Promise, is to use this is the answer to your question. You can call it story or stories. Story or stories. So, this is it. Uh, uh, if you know Oprah Winfrey, put up your hand, please. If you know Oprah Winfrey, in this call, put up your hand. Anybody knows about Oprah? Okay, Tekle knows about Oprah. Eugene knows Oprah. Okay, great. Okay, I used to think that everybody knows Oprah. Alright. Like, a few people here know Oprah Winfrey. So, Oprah is actually, in 2013, Oprah was, if I'm not making a mistake, in 2013, Oprah was the richest woman in the world. And Oprah is a celebrity TV talk show host. Okay, lovely. So, so the question is this: what on earth can? Okay, the question is correct. Thank you. So the question now, this is the answer. I'm already giving you the answer. What on earth can make uh, an event organizer called Tekle, for instance, to invite Oprah Winfrey on as a speaker as a keynote speaker in a conference, and then again invite you, Promise, UK, to come and speak on the same platform. So you see, the only factor or the only differentiator that can make Oprah to be on the stage and Eugene is on the stage and Promise on the stage and Tekle is on the stage, Cyprian Felix on the stage, is your story. Is your story. Yes. That's the only differentiator. Now, everybody here has a story. Whether you like it or not, you have a story. You have a story. And your story is this, is your fingerprint. Your story is what makes you unique. Your story is what distinguishes you from Oprah, from John C. Maxwell, from Simon Sinek, from Jim Rohn, from Oliver Nshom, from Tekle, from Eugene, from Cyprian, from Felix, from Promise. Like, your story is your greatest asset as a speaker. Is your goal and it's your diamond. It's your everything, your story. That's why you should never joke with your story. I love the story Eugene told in his public speaking class the other day. It was amazing. You see, your story is what can sell you out there. Your story. Because people don't want to listen to 3 secrets to become successful. We know those things, guys. We know them. People don't want to listen to 5 principles of entrepreneurship. The secret of leadership. We know those things, man. But they want to hear your story because your story only belongs to you. There are not 2 people in the world with the same story. So your story, no matter how it is similar to mine, is never my story. And my story, no matter how it is similar to yours, is never your story. So that is your fingerprint. That's your blueprint. And that's why any other great speaker like Simon Sinek, John C. Maxwell, Brian Tracy can be booked to speak on the same stage with you. Because your stories are different stories. So if you want to stand out, one of the things you have to start working on now is your story. Start perfecting your story. Start crafting your story. Start polishing your story. Start nurturing your story. Start cooking your story in such a way that by the time it comes out, people should love to eat it. People should love to consume your story. People should love to listen to your story. That's what is important. So the only thing that will distinguish yourself in your niche is your story. It's your story. Excuse me. The other day I was discussing with Eugene. I don't know whether it's last year or this year. And Eugene told me something I long forgot about it. I think it was last year. Eugene said, Oliver, do you remember the day we used to live at Tiala? Back then in 2007. And then we're coming back to Damokong where we're staying. And you used to pass through some churches and you advocate to speak to the youth groups, to talk to young people in the church. You see, that's long ago. That's 2007 when we were in secondary school. 2007 to 2010, 3 years. 2010 to 2020. How many years? That's 13 years. And then 2020 to 2023, right? 24, all right? We're talking about 17 years ago. What? Time has fly, bro. 17 years ago, right? 17 years ago, I used to volunteer to teach youth groups in Damokong Street, in public speaking, like, that was crazy. So that is part of the story. That's part of the story. So if I tell you that, hey, Eugene can testify, I've been doing public speaking for over 18 years. Yes. I've been doing public speaking for over 18 years, and I've trained over 22,000 speakers around the world. America, Asia, Singapore, Germany, Europe, and all that. So it is my story. And so you have your story. And so what will distinguish you is your story. Yes. What will distinguish you is your story. Thank you, Eugene. What will distinguish you is your story. You know, it's your story. So promise, the question you should be asking yourself right now is, what is my story? Everybody in this call right now, you should be asking yourself this question. What is my story? What is that story that I got? I'm talking about that aha story, you know. This is what I'm talking about. The aha. Okay, I'm putting an exclamation mark. I'm putting 3 exclamation marks after the aha. And this is the mistake, guys. Many people do this mistake, and I really feel bad about that. This is it. The story that will take some of you out there, the story that will distinguish you, that the world will love to buy, the story that everybody will be craving to listen to, that it is from you, at times, is the story you don't want to tell. Exactly. Most of the time, that's what happens. You see? So my own story that I don't want to tell, I never wanted anybody to know that I dropped out from school 7 times, guys. 7 times. 7x. I dropped out from school 7 times. I never wanted anybody to ever know that I dropped out from school 7 times. I didn't want anybody to know. But again, I when I shared the story, people were amazed. And that story has given me a lot of speaking opportunities. Until I was invited to speak in one high school. When I told the students in high school that I dropped out from school 7 times, they started shouting. And they asked me why. Was it because of lack of money and all that? I'm like, sometimes I was very dull. And they're like, what? You were dull? I'm like, yeah. At a certain point, it was lack of money. At a certain point, it was because of my, I suffer from ADHD. Who knows the meaning of ADHD? ADHD. Attention Deficit Hyperactive Disorder. ADHD. Right. So I was like, you know this kind of kids, right? So before I noticed, pop, I'm out of school. Before I noticed, pop, I'm into school. Before I noticed, pop, I'm out of school. You know, so many factors contributed to that. And I don't want anybody to know. But again, I'm not saying that you should want me telling your crazy stories out there. But you have to walk the story first. You have to prepare the story, plan the story, practice the story before you tell out there, because some people can misinterpret the story. But I'm saying that for you to come out and shine, you have to tell the story. That's what the world want to hear. Oprah was raped at the age of 12, and she struggled with journalism, and she was told by her auditions that she was not very good for the media. She was not good for TV. That she should find something else doing. Like she was very good to be a housekeeper, a house cleaner. That's how they were seeing Oprah. But Oprah said, no, that's not me. And she believed in herself, respected others, and today she's one of the most respected women in the entire universe. That's her story. Lisa Nichols, that we all celebrate today, was a single mom. Nobody wanted to employ her because some people said that she was physically, not looking attractive. And she struggled with her son alone for years, struggling. And finally, she emerged, and she has used that story to move from zero to hero. And today, most of the American speakers are being trained by Lisa Nichols. She is a top woman, great leader, powerful speaker, and trainer. So the question is, friend, what is your story? What's your story? So, if you want to make a mark, I love the way Steve Jobs put it. Steve Jobs says, if you want to make a dent, a dent is like a mark that you want to put on something. If you want to put your footprints in the history of the world, if you want to put a dent in the speaking industry, you have to work on your story, my friend. Because your story is what will sell you. Your story is what will sell you. And people often identify you for your story. Yeah. So we're looking again at questions beginner speakers ask when they're starting their speaking career. So everybody in this class, you're supposed to ask your own questions right now. Cyprian has asked a couple of questions, and then Promise, same thing. So what are your questions? The class is very interactive, by the way. Okay, questions. Okay, if you have a question, go ahead and ask, please. Any question? Okay. How do you prepare for a speech? How do you practice for a speech? Alright? How do you practice for a speech? Yep. Okay, that's okay. If I got your question very well, Tekle, you mean how often can one start making money after maybe graduating as a speaker? How soon can one start making money? Let me put this so not often. In the speaking industry. Alright? Is that your question? Great. It actually depends on your position. It depends on your experience. It depends on your location. Right. So, for instance, if you are in Cameroon and you graduate from as a speaker and you want to make money speaking, all right. If you are below 30 years and you just have your university degree, and you are in Banso, for instance, it's going to take you a longer time to start making money in speaking. Or if you're in Womb, all right, or you're in Widico, you're in Santa, you're in Pining, and you're in Awing, you're in Kop, You know, you're in Uku, it's going to take you a long time to start making money. You know, you have a degree, you have the qualification, you can speak well, but there you will not have speaking opportunity. The only place you could speak at could be places like birthdays, could be places like full houses, which they don't get many speakers. Could be places like in churches, in youth programs, and all that. They might not pay you well. Okay, the same persona in the city of Bamenda, right? In the city of Bamenda. Now, if you're in the city of Bamenda, or in Boya, or in Douala, or in the heart of Yaoundé, and you advertise yourself by volunteering to speak for free first, being active on Facebook, creating content, sharing what I call social proof, like anywhere you speak, you get a picture, you get videos, you share, except of what you talked about, pictures of you speaking live, and you attend radio interviews and TV interviews and create awareness, you know, of what you're doing. Now, just a little bit, let me explain something on this. There's what we call advertisement and publicity, right? So, there's a big difference. So, I'm going to explain. As a speaker, one of the greatest mistakes you can do is to do what we call publicity. Because people don't believe in publicity, but they believe in advertisement. Now, I will explain. Advertisement is when you are invited by Hello Cameroon or Good Morning Cameroon from CRTV, and you go there and they ask you a question. Take care. You've been in the speaking industry for the past number of 30 years. What are your major achievements? And as you're talking at the national station, the whole country is watching at you. And people are learning to know that, hey, you are a speaker. And so if we want to get a speaker to speak in XYZ event, we can book you. Advertisement is when My Media Prime in Cameroon invites you in their live programs. They call it the clock, topping clock, something. Right. What's the name of the program of My Media Prime, guys? Do so in Cameroon. Okay. When you are invited, as people are watching you as a speaker and you're being interviewed on the speaking industry, that is when you are doing advertisement for yourself. And people believe in that more than ever when it comes to publicity. Now, publicity is when you go to Facebook and you pay Facebook, you know, a couple of dollars to advertise an ad, to run an advert for you. Publicity is when you go to CRTV, My Media Prime, and pay them to run an advert for you. That is publicity. And you bear witness with me that there are a lot of things that people make publicity on that are fake, that are not true. Is that true? Thank you. So you see, when you focus on advertisement, so people invite you for the value you're bringing on the table, for your importance, for your relevance, for your significance. People trust you more than someone who's doing publicity. You know, so that is very important. Now, I was saying that how you position yourself is very important and strategic. So if you're in Cameroon, you have to move from the villages setup to the city or urban setup, and you have to be ready to sacrifice some money for taxi and interurban city transportation, where you travel to different places and do presentations as a volunteer speaker, you know, in conferences, in workshops, in seminars, in schools, like primary schools graduations and PTA meetings, secondary school graduations and PTA meetings, and then university graduations. Or start of the school year for universities, you know, I don't know how to call that again in African. So, if you are in the US, that is a different level. That's a different level. And because that US is actually the hub of public speaking. And in fact, it was like public speaking started here in the US. Motivational speakers, and you hear people like Les Brown, I hear people like Jack Canfield, Brian Tracy. Those are the motivational speakers of our time, that they have been there for ages, like for 30, 40, 50 years. And they are still alive. Some of them are still alive. Jim Rohn, of course, is of late. And many of them are still. Zig Ziglar is of late. Les Brown is alive. Brian Tracy is alive, and others. Now, this is the point. In the US, it's easy for you to start making money from as a speaker. Very, very easy. Very, very easy. Like, in fact, the probability of making money in Cameroon within the first 2 years of your graduation, the scale, let me put in the scales. The scale of making money in Cameroon between your first 2 years of graduation from public speaking, the scale of 0 to 10 is 5. Is 5. Now, the scale of starting to make money in the US, in the course of, okay, somebody said so. What does it take to become a good public speaker if you have a presentation that is unique? Okay, great. I'm going to answer your question later, Eugene, after this one. So the scale of making money in the US after graduating, even for 1 month or 1 year from a public speaking school, like the Texas Institute of Public Speaking or the Public Speaking University, is 10 plus. You know why? Declan. I'll explain. In the US, right? If you just put on your LinkedIn account, for those who have LinkedIn account, if you don't have a LinkedIn account, you better go and create an account now. Well, after this class, you know. If you just put on your LinkedIn account, keynote speaker, or motivational speaker, or corporate trainer, any of these captions or descriptions, you will just receive a call from an agency. Hello, hi, Declare. This is agency, speaking agencies. We came across your LinkedIn and would love to have you as one of our trainers. That's it. Just because you are living in America, you know, just because you're in America, because there are a lot of speakers bureaus. What is a speaker bureau? A speaker bureau is an agency that recruits speakers or trainers, and then that acts like middleman between speakers and event organizers and organizations and companies and institutions who need the speakers. So the speakers bureaus, they will get the speakers to sign up, and then companies, the institution will come and see the speakers bureau, and then they will give them the speakers. And there are a lot of them here in the US. And so what that means is that you actually can have a lot of training on the ground to train here, train there, you know, in the speaking industry, if you are in the US. Secondly, we have a lot of middle schools and universities and high schools here in the US that they can easily accept you to come and share your story to motivate the kids who are learners or the learners. Right, away from that, you can sign up in the speakers bureaus, many other speakers bureaus. We have speakers bureau like dash.com, jakesalad.com, pixarlab.com, and many more of them. When you sign up, you will be having speaking gigs. And away from that, we have the National Speakers Association, which I'm a member of it recently. They have what they call Monday networking meetings, where all members come and they share what they're good at it, they share their goal for the week, and then members support members, you know, with ideas and how to hit your target. And away from that, in the same National Speakers Association, every Monday we have physical meetings in Minneapolis. Every chapter among the 52 the different states, they meet, they receive a training on how we can do better in the speaking industries. And when you meet, you network, you meet people who can be ready to collaborate with you, to support you, to encourage you, to share ideas with you on how you can grow. So every system, everything to help you succeed as a speaker in the US is already there. All you have to do is to join the train, to join the system, and to belong. That's it. But in Cameroon, we are actually battling. Thank God for the Cameroon National Speakers Association. That's an idea that God dropped in my mind through 2021, and today is growing very fast. And we have potential members like Promise UK, and many people will be joining shortly. So right now we have almost 200 members in Cameroon who are belonging to, and that's what we're talking about. So the probability of making a living, big impact in the US as a speaker is very high. When you take it down to Cameroon, it's like 5. So people like you and I, we have to make it up so that Cameroonians can also leverage their talent of speaking and share their story and make an impact, make a living. So, but again, there's good news for those in Cameroon. If you can dare enough, the moment I wanted to speak in Cameroon, when I did not have the speaking gigs in Cameroon in Africa, I decided to relocate to the US. So you are not a tree. You're not born to stuck in one place. So you can move. In as much as you're not a tree, you can move. So I hope that helped you answer your question. Take care. I hope that is helpful. Beautiful. All right. Let me go to Eugene's question. Uh, how do you practice? Okay, that was my own question. So I'm coming to that. Let me go to the chat box and see what Eugene said. What does it take to become a good public speaker if you have a presentation that you need to study, because during presentation you can't be reading word by word, right? And equally you can't memorize every single sentence. All right. Great, great, great. That's a good question, Eugene. Um, I'm sure this is your first class here, Eugene. So somebody like Felix or Cyprian would tell you that we have learned in the early classes that as a speaker, every 1 minute talk must be prepared for 100 minutes, at least 100 minutes. And 100 minutes is equal to 1 hour, 20 minutes. Right. So every 1 minute talk must be prepared for 100 minutes, and 100 minutes is equal to 1 hour, 20 minutes. So it means that if you have a presentation for 1 minute, you have a 1 minute talk, a 1 minute presentation, you have to practice for 1 hour, 20 minutes. Right. And you have a 5 minute talk, you have to multiply that times 100. You understand? So 5 times 100 is 500 minutes. 500 minutes. That's closer to 7 hours for a 5 minute presentation. Now, the question you'll be asking me next, Eugene, is what do I do with these hours of preparation for this short talk? Now, the first thing you have to do, you have to structure your presentation. All right? And when you're structuring your presentation, 3 things you have to take into consideration. The first thing is introduction. What do you want to say about the introduction? And one of the things that we'll learn here, maybe we're still going to learn here, is that I taught this class last Sunday with the Global Voices Academic Kids for 5 years to 18 years. So what you say in your introduction is you introduce the characters, you introduce the date, and you introduce the name of the event. Like, what happened, which year was that? So in the body, you tell them what happened. In the body of your talk, what happened. That's when you take time to explain the process. Now, in the conclusion, you're going to tell them, in the conclusion, all right, what is the call to action, okay? You introduce the character, you introduce the event, you introduce everything that the people need to hear, and then in the body, you talk about what happened, and then in the conclusion, you now tell them what they have to do from what happened, which is what we call the CTA. CTA. What's the meaning of CTA? CTA stands for call to action. Every single presentation you do, there must be a call to action. For instance, for Christians, when a pastor comes to the pulpit and preach, or preaches, what happens is that at the end of the day, he has to make an altar call. And an altar call could be something like this. If you have listened to the message of salvation and you want to give your life to Jesus, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, be on your feet and walk to the pulpit. Everybody, thank you, God bless you. Okay, just come on, everybody, put your hands together for them as they come on. And when they come, they pray and they lead them to Christ. That is what we call to action. So, in a 5 minute talk, in a 3 minute talk, in a 1 minute talk, whatever number of minutes an hour, you must end up with a call to action. Alright, so the question is, how do you prepare your presentation? How could be good in public speaking by preparing a presentation to talk without reading and without looking? And of course, one of the reasons why you should not read is because if you read, it becomes a robot. However, your question has a lot of things to say, and we're going to teach a lot of things because of that question, right? So, the first thing, 1 minute talk is equal to 100 minute preparation, and which is in 1 hour, 20 minutes. First thing first. The second thing now, Eugene, is that you don't read, because if you read, you become a robot, and there's going to be a lack of rapport. What is rapport? Rapport is your ability to connect with your audience in such a way that they're held spellbound. And the next thing they could do is they shift their buttocks, from the inside of the chair to the front of the chair, and they pull their ears to listen more to what you're saying because they don't want to miss every iota of it. That is what we call rapport. So if you talk to them without reading, there will be rapport, and that is what you want to happen for your presentation. So you have to understand that we have 4 types of speeches or presentations. We have what we call the manuscript. Take note, Eugene. The manuscript presentation is this, right? This one. Ladies and gentlemen, a speech presented by Nshom on the occasion of the graduation of the 20th batch of the Public Speaking University Institute, USA. This is what I'm doing. You see, I'm reading. I always have a difficulty to read directly and talk to people. So that is what we call the manuscript. You're reading from the manuscript, right? That's one. That's manuscript. That's the first category. Now, this is what happens, Eugene. Most head of states in Africa, they use a lot of manuscript to talk. Obama doesn't do that. He speaks, he masters his script, and he speaks like that. Now, most pastors or ministers, they use manuscript to preach, which is good for what they believe. Some people it's not good. So, if your presentation entails that you should do a manuscript format of presentation, you are permitted to read, but that does not mean that you should read throughout without disconnecting from your eyes from the script and then looking at the audience. No, you have to make sure you do that. You don't just read everything, because if you're reading everything, why don't you just share the papers or the books for everybody to be reading from it? So the second type of presentation is what we call the extemporaneous. Extemporaneous presentation now is the kind of presentation where you can read and you explain to people. You read, you explain to people. That's what many people do in classroom. This is very famous with high school teachers. They read and then they lecture. They read the lecture. It's also very common in universities. You come with your PowerPoint, you do the notes, and then when they read a line, you lecture. They read the paragraph, you lecture. So we have what we call the impromptu. The impromptu presentation now is a surprise. Like, okay, it's the class birthday. We are all gathered as the students of the Public Speaking University under the School of the Texas Institute of Public Speaking. And like Eugene, in behalf of the students, give a speech of 3 minutes to represent the students. And you're like, oh my gosh, like, what am I going to do? What am I going to say? And there's a way, for those who are graduating sooner, there's a class we had, there's a lecture we had on how to deliver impromptu presentations. I think we also have it for new students. How do you just stand and they surprise you and you deliver a talk and people are clapping for you? We'll do that here. So, impromptu. And then the last one is what we call the memorized speaking. Memorized speaking. That is very delicate. So you speak from your memory. You speak from, it's like you cram it and you regurgitate it. Right? That's memorized speaking. Now, Eugene, the kind of presentation you have to be doing in that context is you can do extemporaneous, impromptu, and memorized. So the question is, how do you prepare for impromptu, for memorized, and for extemporaneous? All right? How do you prepare for this kind of presentation where you have to deliver most of the time without script? All right? So we talked about that already, and I'm going to say something again about that. Now, when it comes to reading and talking, one of the reasons why we read is that we have not mastered the content very well. And so we are afraid that if we talk without reading, we'll miss out the core of the message. So the first secret to master this book and train people with it without reading from it is that you have to practice the book. All right? You have to take time to read it and regurgitate and understand. Because once you understand it, you can always teach it at any time. If you just get it up from bed to get up and teach, you will teach it once you understand. So most of the time, why we have to read chunks and chunks and chunks of text is because we have not understood what we're teaching people. And that's why, in the first answer I said, A great speaker is that speaker who is teaching from what he has become, not what he has learned or what he has listened from somebody say. He's teaching from what he has emerged to be, not what he hears say or I hear say or you hear say. No. What that means is that if you know that what I'm teaching is what I have become for the past 20 years, there is no need for you to even use books to teach people. That's why I always say with all humility that I can teach public speaking for the next 9 months without ever using a textbook. And everything I'm teaching will be brand new. It's because I have become it. And I'm teaching what I am practicing, what I am living, what I have been practicing for the past 18 years. That is what it takes to be able to deliver compelling presentations that can hold everybody spellbound. That's what it takes. So you have to become the top. So you have to talk from what you are practicing, from what you are living. And again, you can't do that if you have not been practicing how to say it. And how do you do that? Anytime you go to talk, get a record of your presentation. Record everything you're saying. After that, watch, criticize yourself, critique yourself. Like, oh, how could I have said such a damn thing? And then you correct yourself. You record again, put yourself in the mirror, practice like, hello everybody, good morning, this is Nshom, your favorite speaker. Tell yourself you're your favorite speaker, you are their favorite speaker. And like today, we're going to be looking at the importance of public speaking in the midst of the university milieu. 3, 4, 5 years ago, I just graduated with my master's and I was excited, like what's the next phase of my life? And guess what? Do that every day, my friend. Before you go to bed, after you get up from bed. Do that every single day. And the more you do that with yourself, and when you are eating in the parlor, in the dining table, give a toast. Like, hey everybody, I want to give a toast. You know what is a toast? I think everybody here knows what it is. You know what is a toast. Like, alright, so I want to appreciate everybody who is in this class right now. I'm giving this toast to reassure you of my commitment and my dedication to the class because I'm learning a lot of things. So, and my birthday is coming up, so I want to make a surprise to everybody. I'm taking everybody after this class for a restaurant and I'm going to take care of the bills. Toast to the success of this class today. Great. So you do that. Seek opportunity to speak everywhere you go. In a dining table with your friends, seek opportunity to speak to people. Right? So that is how you practice. And if you have an accountability partner, you could record. I have a lot of my students that they record presentations and they send to me on WhatsApp, on email, on Dropbox, and I just watch and critique and give them the feedback. So the more you do that, the better you become. The better you become. The more you do that, the better you become. The better you become. Okay? Eugene, I hope you had enough than what you asked for. So, any other question? Eugene, are you satisfied with the answer? By the way, great. Anybody, anything you want to ask, anybody can ask. You can ask something if you feel to do that. Alright, so how to practice the talk. Eugene's question has answered the question of how to practice your talk. We talked about that. How to practice your talk. How many here knows about Toastmasters International? Anybody knows about Toastmasters International? Anybody? Toastmasters International. Anybody? Alright. Nobody. So Toastmasters International is an organization that helps speakers to become better. So you could also join the Toastmasters International, where you'll be going and practicing your speeches and they're giving you credit and they're giving you feedback and credit so you can improve on that. Great. So that's one of the ways to practice speeches. Like I said, you cannot learn how to speak without speaking. So you have to always speak. Seek opportunity to speak. Right. Speak and seek opportunity to speak. Yes, Felix, 2 hands up. Felix, your hand is up. Ask the question.
Okay, so those reasons are going to be my website. My website is postmarket.com.
So the Toastmasters International is, yeah, it's a non-profit organization founded way back in the 1970s, I think. So their mission is to help leaders, speakers, professional speakers improve or point their communication abilities. And so they meet once in a month or in every quarter for meetings where they bring different speakers to share ideas, and then after the speaker talks, people have to critique the presentation or appreciate. Critique is either giving positive or negative feedbacks that can help them to improve on their. So that's literally the idea behind Toastmaster. And so every year they do competitions, speaking competitions where they compete at the local level, to the national level, to the international level, to the global level. And so if you go to YouTube, you must have watched a lot of YouTube videos on Toastmasters, first prize, second prize. We have a lot of them on YouTube. Those who competed to the international level and to the global level, and they won. So.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. That's nice.
Great. Yeah, they do. They do. And we even have a Toastmasters in Bamenda. Maybe we started the Toastmasters in Bamenda, Cameroon, which you could join. We have Toastmasters in Yaoundé, 3 Toastmasters in Yaoundé. I don't know if there's one in Douala. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, I will link you up. Great. Any other question, please? Yep. Eugene? Yeah, go ahead, please. And again, yes, Felix.
I think I sound. Yeah, I'm trying to say that I think the program has been also maybe they have to raise his hand.
Eugene hand is up throughout the class. Okay, that's okay. So, yeah. So one thing you need to know is that in the speaking industry, there is no one size solution to every problem. So there's not one way you can solve a problem when it comes to the speaking industry. It means that what worked for me might not be what will work for you, and what worked for you might not be what will work for her, or what worked for her might not be what worked for you. Uh, Means that if X started his speaking career or her speaking career, and then spoke for this number of years before starting having clients, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do that. You could just, after graduation, you could just, who knows why? Because times and seasons varies, they differ. You get it? They differ a lot. And what that means is that maybe what was happening 10 years ago is not what necessarily need to happen today in this dispensation, and vice versa. So it means that, if it took this person this number of time to start getting paid speaking gigs or engagement, doesn't mean that you should take the same number of time. No. So it's not a formula. There's not a standard formula on how to succeed as a speaker, but you just have to try your own formula, and then which one works for you, fantastic. Some people say you need to join the speakers bureaus where you can get speaking engagements and so on and so forth. And some people say you have to do a lot of content on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook, where people can watch and book you. That's the good if it works for you. And some people can say you have to contact event organizers to pitch yourself to them as a speaker. That could get you speaking. That if that works for you, that's beautiful. So that's why I'm saying that what is working for X might not necessarily work for Y. And so that doesn't mean that y should not also try what x is doing. We call that comparing notes. So always make sure you compare notes at every stage of the ladder, at every rung of the ladder. So without any ado, I want to let you know that we are gradually getting to the end of our class. Any question, any worry, any concern? If there are no questions, we have to practice. Everybody will be on your feet to talk now. So I'm going to give you topics, and then everybody, you have 2 minutes to deliver the talk. This one, you don't have to read. This is impromptu. Remember, we talk about impromptu, extemporaneous, memorized, and manuscript speech. So the challenge is for the impromptu speech. Alright? This is a class, and one of the things I said last year was that in school, students will not be afraid to put up their hands and ask questions or answer questions. Even when you give a wrong answer, there's no laughing about that. You know, there's not going to be some laughing about that, because this is a school, and one of the things we do in school is that we learn. And we come to school because we don't know. I've never seen anybody come to school because he knows. No. Most of the people I see in school, they want knowledge, they want to learn. And when you come to learn, you shouldn't be afraid to make mistakes, because you can only learn through mistakes. And that's why, if I ask you, what's the opposite of success? What will you say? Oh, failure. Any other person? Okay, Cyprian, you said failure? Okay, so, great. Promise, what's the opposite of success?
The opposite of success is, for me, it's not simple. It was like, just laziness.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, laziness. Okay. So what's the opposite of success? Any other last part? Okay, now, I think the opposite of success should be insanity. Right? Insanity. So failure for me shouldn't be the opposite of success, because I see failure as part of success. You notice that you never failed in something you're not trying to do it. You get it? So if you do it and you succeed, the opposite should not be you trying to do it. So the opposite of success shouldn't be failure. Now the opposite of success should be insanity. Now I'll explain. Insanity is when you do something every day and you expect a different result. Right? So if you're supposed to be doing great in your work, in your job, and you're messing up every day, and your boss is like, hey, sit up, hey, sit up, hey, sit up, and you're not sitting up, that is doing the same thing, the same way every day and expecting different result. You want to do better, but you're not doing anything to improve that. So it's a little bit to what Promise said. So you're doing the same thing every day, but you are expecting a better result, which you cannot get it. That's insanity. Right? But failure only happens when you're making step. When you're making step. And that's why a toddler who is learning how to walk, the first time, she will creep and then hold things and get up and make a step and fall. They will fall. So the next step, to the fourth time, the next step, that's failure. So it should not be like the opposite of success in that context, you know. So what I'm saying is this: when you come to school, when you make a mistake, you are not failed, and you are not a failure. You only become a failure when you stop learning, and you decide to stay where you failed the first time. Because in life, if you don't fail, you can never succeed. Most successful people in the world are the greatest failures of our time. Name them. Thomas Edison failed 999 times. Right? Jeff Bezos failed. Jack Ma failed. Steve Jobs failed. Bill Gates failed. Mark Zuckerberg failed 3 times consistently in the previous projects he worked on. Before Facebook would work. Now today, Meta. So please don't be afraid, okay? Don't be afraid. Nobody should be afraid to make mistakes. Even make mistakes and then learn faster and then go. So here are the topics. Okay? Quickly. Topics. So I'm just going to put down your names randomly and then assign some topics to you. Where's the notes? Alright, so okay. So we have ladies before gentlemen. So take your topics. Declare AI. Eugene, social media. Felix, 3D printing. Cyprian, Felix, your topic is 3G printing. Then Cyprian, your topic is BMW cars. BMW cars. And then Promise, the topic is emotional intelligence. So declare AI. AI is the talk of the day, artificial intelligence. Eugene, social medias. Felix, 3G printing. Cyprian, BMW cars. And then Promise, emotional intelligence. Alright? So straight away, everybody, you have 2 minutes each, and we're starting straight away with declare. Declare, your time starts now.